All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. On this week's episode, we have Justus Reid. Justus is an American TikTok and Instagram star with no Croatian roots or connection at all, who all of a sudden broke into the Croatian social media scene as well as the greater Balkan area. After posting videos singing songs in Croatian, Justus recently performed on the Croatian singing show Supertalent and is set to release a brand new song that he wrote in the Croatian language. In this episode, we're going to find out the story behind all of this. Justus, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on. I've been following you or at least I first heard about you at least a year ago, maybe a little more, I'm not sure, but a buddy of mine who actually we both came from Los Angeles to Croatia together to do this, program that I'm in. He showed me, he said, "Oh, check this guy out, some American guy singing Croatian songs." And, sort of before we get into all of that, how all that started, can you tell us a little bit, where you're from and your background?
Yeah, so I was born in a small town in North Dakota. That's where my mother is originally from. And when I was about 5 or 6, moved to Rapid City, South Dakota. And so I would call Rapid City my home. It's not very big. South Dakota has less people in it than Croatia is, despite being what, 3 or 4 times the size, land
Wow, yeah.
wise. Most people couldn't point to it on a map. Most South Dakotans don't know where Croatia is, and most Croatians don't know where South Dakota is.
It's a mutual relationship.
Yeah, and I just want to make one thing clear. North Dakota, South Dakota are different states. Every time I tell a Croatian person I'm from South Dakota, they go, "Oh, Dakota. I know Dakota." It's like, "No, you don't. It's South Dakota." Anyway, so I'm 22 years old. I've been playing guitar for about 10 years. Um, I started playing electric guitar because my dad is a musician and a singer. He never did it professionally, but he always did it as a hobby, and I have a lot of fond memories growing up of him playing and singing. Um, I actually come from a family of singers. My older brother and sister are both musicians and singers as well. So, uh, and what's funny is I've got all this popularity, but they're both probably better musicians and singers than I am. So it is funny. Nobody expected that I was gonna be the big star.
uh,
But I had to show them. Um,
does your dad ever say, "Oh, if I had TikTok back in my day, I'd be famous too," or anything like that?
oh, all sorts of things. You know what's funny is all of the I have him in a fair amount of my videos. And every time views start to go down, I'm like, Dad, you need to be in a video so we can boost the views. And it works. People love to see my dad. So
That's funny. Yeah, so Justice, tell me now, I mean, so you have a history of music, you've always been a musician, runs in the family. How do you end up singing songs in Croatian on TikTok and Instagram?
yeah, so it's a little bit of a complicated story. I'll try to simplify. Um, I decided that I was gonna try to write my own music. I wrote and recorded 5 songs. Uh, about that would have been January of 2021. So a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago. That's crazy.
Wow, yeah.
Um, I, so I made 5 songs and I wanted people to listen to them. And so I did some research and I found that TikTok was the best way to promote your music. And I went through making TikTok content very mechanically, like start with I want to promote my music, but then my first viral video was about a car, not about music at all. I had a truck I made a video about and it went viral. And so I go, well, I guess I make videos about cars now. Because that's the way I work. You just do what works, you know? Music isn't working. I make videos about cars. And eventually that led to me making a video about the Yugo. which is an old car from Yugoslavia from the 80s that they sold in America. And I called it the worst car ever made because Car and Driver said it was the worst car ever made. I've never driven one, but I said it was the worst car ever made, and that video blew up. It went super viral, but not in America, in Balkan, and not just Croatia, but Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, Slovenia, all of them. And they were all commenting. I remember one very clearly. A comment said, "The Yugo is the only thing that unites Croatia and Serbia, and now you spit on it?" They were very offended. And so eventually, after making a few more videos poking fun at the Yugo, I ended up singing a Serbian song called Mickey Milane, which I guess everybody in Balkan knows. And the reason I did that was as an apology. I felt like I had gone too far. I'd said too many mean things about the Yugo. And that video went insanely viral. It was the most popular thing I had ever made. And there were people who had been following the whole thing. We forgive you. We forgive you now. Now everything is good now. You've sung our song. And I was in the news. I was on the radio. I was getting DMs from everywhere, all over, just getting totally blown up. I was like a celebrity overnight. I remember reading an article about it and showing it to my friends. We put it in Google Translate because we couldn't read it. And it said, "A young American man set the internet literally on fire last night with his video of him singing Mickey Milane." I was like, guys, I set the internet on fire, literally on fire. So that led to, I guess I sing Serbian songs now. Just like what happened with Cars, is I just do what's popular. It's like, first it started with American music, my own, and then it was Cars, and now it is Balkan songs. Let's go with it. And so I was making videos every single day for over a year, singing Balkan songs every single day. And to Croatia specifically, I've gotten massive, insane support. It just started with, I do that Serbian song, and then the Croatians in the comments go, "I'm from Croatia, you need to sing my song," or the song from our country. "I'm from Slovenia, you need to sing our song from our country." And I go, fine, let's do it all. And it has been extremely rewarding. Anyway, that's the long story of how I got my start. Very unconventional.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that can only happen in these modern times, with all the social media that's out there. Do you remember what some of the first couple Croatian songs that you posted were?
Ooh, I know the first one for sure was, I believe it was Ako Te PTU by Petar Grasho was the first one.
Mm.
And one I will never forget, and my favorite, I've had to answer this a lot of times. What's your favorite Croatian song? It is a Christmas song. Sreten Božić svakome
Yeah.
is my favorite Croatian song. And it's because I did that song with my two brothers for the TikTok page when they were here for the holidays. And an article got written about that video. And I sent it to my older brother. I said, "You're famous. You're in an article in Croatia. Here's a picture of you." And I sent it to him before I read it. Then I put it in Google Translate, and I found out it said, American superstar Justus Reid sings song with two others. And I was like, "You are others."
Not even brother, just others.
Just two others. Who are they?
I think I just read that article actually like an hour ago in preparation for this interview.
Nice. Yeah,
I
with
think I
two
saw
others.
it. Yeah, that's funny. And so, I mean, what did your family think about all this? Once you started going viral, I mean, you were doing it for at least a year before before you went to Croatia, at least for the Supertalent.
Yeah, so they've been super supportive. It's actually so my first viral video in Balkan, I guess, with the Yugo was in March of 2021. And then in August of that same year, I actually ended up visiting Slovenia, um, which, is so long ago now, it was over a year ago. But I spent 2 weeks in Slovenia um, with a fellow TikToker who goes by Jello, and he is my best Balkan friend. He covered the whole trip, and it was absolutely amazing. I was a celebrity everywhere I went. And my dad was with me, which was the best part because somebody from home could actually see that this was real. It was like being on
Uh-huh.
a completely different planet. We were getting stopped for photos everywhere we went, and all of that. And so I was prepared for Croatia when I went this year. Um, I was ready for the uh, to be a celebrity. Um, so,
So you had
but
fans then, even a year ago in Slovenia when you went. You had people recognizing you?
I did. I was actually, I got more views in Slovenia in that short period of time when I was there than I ever have. I think I got 10 million views in a week. And
Wow.
Slovenia has 2 million people as a population.
Yeah.
And so we got in free everywhere we went. I had a guitar with me everywhere. I was singing Slovenian songs and all of that. To be honest, my largest support group for the longest time has been in Slovenia. So I was really surprised when I heard about Supertalent, that Croatia was interested in me. I had done Croatian songs. They had written about me. I was very popular there, but I was shocked by that. I was like, I thought only Slovenians liked me enough to invite me to their country. But
Well, how did that process work? They reached out to you and said, "We'll fly you out here," or you had to get your own flight, or how did that work?
that one is really I'm not sure what the contractual stuff with that is. Um, but to say the least, it took a very long time to negotiate that, actually. They reached out far, far in advance and they were like, well, let's do it this way. And I was like, that's not going to work. And it was just lots of back and forth. What days are you coming? How long are you going to stay? Where are you going to stay? Who's going to pay for it? Um, but we did come to an agreement that was totally reasonable for both of us. And I think both parties were really happy. So I think that's probably the most I could say.
Okay. And when did you can you say the timeline that you were here or no?
I was here. Yeah. So I think I can. I was there in June. So it actually, the performance didn't premiere until September.
Hmm.
So I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. That's why I was in Croatia until it aired. Um, and so that I'm glad that happened. Everybody was very surprised. I told my fans, I said, I'm coming to Croatia. I'll be there for 3 days. It was very short notice. It was like tomorrow I'll be in Croatia for 3 days. And then I did the audition, which took about a day. Um, and I could talk more about that if you'd like, about the audition process. But I did the audition. I felt it went really well, and I flew home. It was like 21 hours of total travel time, including
Ugh.
layovers and hotels and stuff. And I was so jet lagged when I got home. I wasn't back to normal for weeks.
Yeah, that's the worst. It's easier, actually for me, it's easier going from Croatia to LA where I'm from than going the other way around to Croatia. But doing all that back and forth in a 3 day span, I mean yeah, that's the worst part about, going is the trip itself.
Yeah. And I never got to leave Zagreb as well. That was the only place I was the whole time. And it was a beautiful weekend. And so I have friends in Croatia who I had met through TikTok and Instagram, through being an influencer guy. And I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Zagreb, your home city." uh, let's meet up. And everybody's like, hey, I'm on vacation this weekend. It's a
They're
beautiful
all
week.
down at the coast.
So everybody was in Split.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I had four people I knew who I was friends with. I reached out to all of them, and every one of them was on vacation. So
Oh man.
I didn't get to meet any of my friends when I was in Croatia, but I did make some new friends. I met a cappella group called Voxford, and we sang Mickey Milane, my original viral hit, as in with an a cappella group, and that video was extremely popular as well. So
Oh, pretty cool. Yeah, it sucks that you didn't get to. I mean, the best part for me and for a lot of other people I know of Croatia in the summer is being able to go to, the beach, to the seaside over there, like Split. But were you able to at least go around Zagreb a little bit and see anything there, any sights?
I was the what do they call it? The world's shortest chairlift.
Yeah, yeah. I'm forgetting the name in Croatian and in English now, but yeah, the little thing that goes up to the Gornji Grad, to the upper city.
Yes, so we went to the upper city. We saw the government where they are. I don't know what they call them, but the government buildings, and just walked through the center of town. We didn't really go in any shops or anything. We just didn't have time. But I got a pretty good layout of the city, and I really liked it there. Everybody was very friendly, and once again, I was recognized a lot. Took a lot of pictures with fans, and um, had a good time. And like I said, nobody knew why I was there. It's
Uh-huh.
just I just like I just happened to be in Croatia, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "You'll find out soon enough."
Wow. What's that like for you to be, you're in a foreign country, basically across the world in Croatia, and people are coming up to you, recognizing you from your videos?
Well, I think it was more amazing than I expected it to be. With Americans in foreign countries, we kind of create this us and them kind of mentality. I think it's kind of difficult to escape, you know, is these aren't my people, they're foreigners, right? But I felt right at home in Croatia. I mean, it could have been the 51st state, you know?
Hmm.
I everybody's like, what was the biggest culture shock? And I was like, it's pretty normal. I mean, you could just walk into a restaurant and sit down, I guess. You don't have to wait to be seated. Um, and this is probably even weird for you. In South Dakota, the legal driving age is 14 years old. And
Wow.
so I got my first car and driver's license and job at 14. Um, and in Croatia, nobody's even got a car. Like,
Yeah. I think the driving
yeah,
age is actually 18 is the legal driving age here. But yeah, I mean the public transportation, especially in Zagreb, is very good. A lot of people just take that or walk, it's not a big city.
yeah, it was super easy to get around. And I felt perfectly safe while I was there too. I mean, like I said, I was right at home. And so the impact is much larger than you would think. It's like you're in a foreign country and everybody recognizes you. It's like I'm in a city and everybody's recognizing me. Like these aren't foreigners. These most everybody speaks English, and everybody who walked up to me knew I was American, so they spoke English to me.
Uh-huh. Well, I wanted to ask you about that because you're singing in Croatian. You've got a new song coming out that we'll get to in a little bit here that you wrote in Croatian language. Can you speak at all any Croatian conversationally, or do you just memorize the words singing?
I can't speak Croatian. I only memorize the words singing, and I don't know any languages other than English. I hear that learning your first language is hardest. Uh,
Yeah.
it's so I haven't quite got it. I can read Croatian and pronounce the words properly. I know the entire Croatian alphabet. Um, and but I don't know what the words mean. So I can pick up on a Croatian song extremely quickly. Like it used to take me 3 hours to make one TikTok video forever,
Wow.
just practicing and messing up again and again and again and again. Like that first video I did, Mickey Milanay, when I sang that, I had like a super excited reaction, like, yes, I got it. And it's because I had been trying for hours to get the words right.
That
And
was
I
a real
finally
reaction.
did it. It was a real reaction. It was genuinely like, finally, I'm done. I did it. Um, and but now that I've been doing it for so long, I can pick up a song and make a quick video in 20 minutes, like
So
really quick.
the sounds and the words of the language, or at least the sound of it, is more familiar to you now.
Yes, but I don't know what the words mean. I can't conversationally speak Croatian, not even a little.
Yeah, well, it's an extremely difficult language for me as an American. That's why I'm actually here in the first place. I know we were talking off camera a little bit about what I'm doing here in Croatia and Zagreb, but yeah, I'm here in a language program trying to learn Croatian. I've been a year and a half, and I still feel like I don't know, maybe I know 25% of like I don't know. It's difficult. Just, I mean, Slavic languages in general just have a whole different scheme than, English. So it's difficult that from an English language perspective for sure. Um, when you're singing now, so it's easier for you to pronounce the words. It's easier to sing in Croatian. You were in Croatia for Supertalent. That's like the Croatian American Idol. It's the biggest singing show, singing in Croatian. What was that experience like for you? Were you nervous?
I was extremely nervous. I actually don't think, I don't know that I've ever been that nervous before. I
Wow,
started
really?
feeling ways that I had never felt before. Like, one of the things I remember thinking is my mouth was dry. Like, I kept drinking water. I drank a bunch of water and my mouth just wouldn't stop being so dry. And I remember like reading that in a book. Like he was really nervous. His mouth was dry. I was like, this has never happened to me before. But the reason I was so nervous is because I was severely underprepared. I'm very busy. I work a full-time job and have like a life, and so I did not have much time to practice. I actually did most of my practicing in my hotel room before after I got to Croatia, and just again and again, I borrowed a guitar from the guys at Voxford, the a cappella group. Thanks to them, I borrowed a guitar. I locked myself in my hotel room for hours and just kept practicing and trying to get it memorized, trying to get it right. And I don't think I got that entire thing right one time, other than the final performance when I was on stage.
So nothing
And
right in practice, only during the
no,
final performance.
no, yeah, and there had to be a transition point where I would play until I messed up, and then I would stop and I would begin again. And then as the time got closer, I just had to accept the mistakes and just keep going. And so once you start to accept mistakes and say, mental note, that was not correct, but I'm going to keep going. So maybe no one will notice. Um, so it was like I never got a performance as good as when I actually was up on stage. Um, but I felt like it turned out well. I mean, I bet I've seen that video of me up on stage. I mean, 100 times now. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Are we able to, since this episode will be released on the 11th of December, I believe, are we able to talk a little bit about that, leak some of the info about what happened on Supertalent?
Okay, so Supertalent, love those guys. They reached out to me. I mean, I was super honored and had a great time. I don't really have anything bad to say about them. Uh, however, I am a little disappointed with how things ended up turning out. So, okay, I finished my performance. I got 4 yeses from all of the judges. I go backstage and everybody is like, yes, you nailed it. You did a great job. We love it. And I was like, so you think I'm going to make it to the semifinals? And they're like, well, nobody's going to know who actually makes it to the semifinals until much later, until like August, like 2 months from now. And they go, but you're going to make it to the semifinals. They're like, you got 4 yeses. We love you. That everybody, you're coming back. And so I signed paperwork for that for the semifinals. And they said, you need to come up with a new act for the semifinals. And I go, well, what do you think I should do? And they go, do you think you could maybe do your own song? And that was it. That's all they said is maybe do your own song. I said, oh, okay. I think I can do that. I think I could write a song for this. And so I did. And it took forever to write. But the song is about an American, me, flying to Croatia because he's in love with a Croatian girl. And the first half of it is in English because that's the language I speak. And the second half is in Croatian. And I initially had lyrics written for it that I just used Google Translate to get those Croatian lyrics. And I made a few tweaks to make sure it kind of flowed. But I made a demo. I was happy with it. And I sent it over to the guys at Supertalent, and they were like, we love it. We think this is going to be a great performance. And they're like, we're going to send you an email with the information about the semifinals right away. And the email I got was like 2 sentences long. It was like, sorry, you have not been selected for the semifinals. Have a nice day. I was like,
Wow.
what? Like, wait a second. I just, oh, yeah, it was like, you haven't been selected for the semifinals, so there is no need to prepare and act.
Jeez. And you had gotten 4 yeses. How does that work?
I don't know. I really don't. They didn't really give me a reason, and we can speculate all we want, but I don't think it's fair to them. The truth is, they were really nice to me. The trip was awesome, and I want to add that I've gotten continued support from the team, even after they said they didn't want to pursue the semifinals. Their PR team has been helping me with interviews and encouraging me and things like that. And so I'm super disappointed that I'm not going to the semifinals. And I was extremely disappointed that I put in so much work into this song that I wrote for the semifinals. And I even wrote it in kind of a specific way that I was like, this song will do really well on stage. It's a song that you can clap to, that we can have backup dancers and fireworks, and they're like kind of musically, like this is a stage song. And then it just completely like was gone. But I decided I was going to finish the song anyway because I put in so much work, and I was like, who knows, maybe people will listen to it anyway. And so I got a hold of a producer to finish it. His name, I don't even know if he goes by his real name, but he goes by Raleigh, and he is a super talented producer from Balkan. I know he lives in Slovenia now, I believe, but he does a lot of travel, and he just did a phenomenal job. Just totally crushed that song, and he rewrote a few of my Croatian lyrics. He was like, this sounds a little clumsy, so let's clean this up. And he also helped me with pronunciation. I was like, I've got the recording of the Croatian part. Here it is. And he's like, it's not so good, And so I had to send him a few takes of that. But
Well, now
anyway,
that song is ready for official release pretty soon, right? What's the date on that?
that actually is already out as of the time of this airing. It comes out November 20th, which is like soon. It'll be out
Yeah,
by now.
it will be a few weeks ago today as
Yeah.
while people are
Yeah.
listening to this. Well, I'll definitely have
Yeah.
to drop a link to that. So people who are listening right now, you can go to the episode description and check out the song. Where are you planning on releasing it? On what platforms? Are you planning on a
All
music video, YouTube?
all of them. It's going on all of them. But there will be a music video released. Hopefully, that will also be out by the time this airs. My older brother is a filmmaker. It's what he does for a living. And he's going to help me make a music video. And hopefully, we'll be filming for that very soon. So
Awesome.
expect a
Well,
music video. But
awesome.
other
You're
than that,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Just the listening for the song is going to be out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, everywhere you listen to music, all of them.
Well, I like that you're able to bring the whole family again, involve the whole family in this process. You, what was I going to say here? Oh, yeah, you mentioned that you wrote the song to be played live. Do you have any plans to go back to Croatia and perhaps play it live on stage?
I would love to. I do not have any plans. I can't say that, but if there is anybody who could help me facilitate that, then my DMs are open. Send me a message.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll include links to all your social medias. So anyone who wants to check out Justus's stuff, TikTok, Instagram, where else are you on?
TikTok and Instagram is it. That those are the hip platforms.
Awesome. Well, Justus, I want to thank you so much for coming on the All Things Croatia podcast, talking a little bit about yourself, about your song, your experience with Croatia. Obviously, you've got a lot of big plans coming up. You're releasing the song, the Supertalent. Well, by the time this goes out, the Supertalent will be all released, all those episodes. Do you have any other big plans that we haven't talked about?
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest. This song is like the biggest thing I've done for uh, maybe ever. The biggest thing I've done ever. It was a huge undertaking to make, and my hope is that it opens doors for big plans. The song is the plan, and let's hope it's a big hit. It catches some eyeballs of some whoever in Croatia, and it facilitates. It gives me the ability to visit Croatia again and go on tour or whatever.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Well, for everyone listening, the song is already out, and for me, I'm excited to hear it soon when it does come out.
It's gonna be
Well,
great. You
Justice,
guys are gonna
thank
love
you
it.
again for your time, and thanks for coming on the podcast here.
Absolutely. Thanks again for inviting me.